I'm lying under cold light, and I've got a clear tube in my nose because my body needs help doing what you're doing without thinking, taking a breath. I'm 92. My name is Vivian, and this might be the last time I can talk this clearly. The last time my thoughts don't fall apart like ash. And you know what the scariest part is? Not that I'm dying. I've already accepted that. The scariest part is that you're alive, and you're still asleep. Look to the left of me. There's a glass wall. On the other side is a hallway. Cold, clean, blank. And standing out there in that hallway is a nurse. Her name is Temzin. She's 27. She doesn't come in here. She doesn't like coming in here. It's too quiet in here, and it's too honest. She watches me through the glass like I'm something to manage, not something to feel. She sees the monitor, she sees the IV, she sees that line that jumps and settles and jumps again. And between us is glass. Real glass. Thick glass. Like the glass between you and your own life. Temzin's holding a tablet right now, checking numbers, nodding to herself like she's checking boxes on someone else's fate. And then, right back down to her phone. She's close. She's watching. But she isn't here. She's in her messages, in some argument, picking a dress for the weekend, needing to feel wanted by somebody. She's young, she's healthy, she's got a whole future, and she's already sleepwalking. You think this is about her? No, it's about you. Because you live like this too. You put things off. You reschedule your life. You wait for the right moment. You think you've got time. And that, right there, is the disease. The disease of tomorrow. I want you to hear one name. And I want you to remember it. Because right now, in these first few minutes, you can still shrug this off. You can still say, okay, dramatic video. You can still pretend this isn't about you. His name was Henry. And if you stay with me to the end, you'll understand why I'm telling you Henry died long before his heart stopped, and why you're doing the same thing to yourself, just slower. Henry was my husband. Good man, quiet man. The kind people trust. The kind they point to and say, now that's a solid guy. He didn't cheat. He didn't slam doors. He didn't scream. He just waited. He lived by one rule. First, you earn your life. You do that too, don't you? First you get stable. First you get your stuff together. First you set everything up. First you reach a normal level. And only then you allow yourself to breathe. Now listen, because I'm about to say the thing people hate hearing out loud. Waiting is dying. Henry worked in logistics, an office where the air smelled like plastic, coffee, and exhaustion. Gray walls, that buzzing fluorescent light that makes everybody look like ghosts. People don't live there. They clock in, they grind down. And in that place, they had a religion. Not God, not family, the calendar. Sheets on the wall with days crossed out. They crossed out time like it was saving them. One more week, one more month, one more year. Just a little more, and then life starts. Henry crossed out days too. And at the same time, he dreamed. He had a dream that made his eyes warm even on the grayest night. There was an old boat in our garage, half finished, dust on the boards, tools nobody touched for weeks. He bought that boat years ago when he was younger, and he said, "One day I'll fix her up, and we'll go to the ocean." The ocean. A grown man living the right life, dreaming about the ocean like a little kid. And every time I asked, "When are you going to start?" he'd smile like I just didn't get it. "When I retire, Viv, then I'll have time." He made lists, neat lines, careful handwriting, like order on paper could create order in a life. On that list, Italy, ocean, boat, finally live. And one line he said more than anything else, "Then we'll really live." You might smile at that right now, but I know you've got a list like that too. Maybe not on paper, maybe just in your head, but it's there. When I lose the weight, when I make more, when things calm down, when the timing is right. And every line is another day you hand over to anything but yourself. And then he actually retired. Picture it. He came home in the middle of the day. No rushing, no uniform, no badge. He sat down on the couch and said, "That's it. I'm free." I thought he'd jump up. I thought he'd go straight to the garage, open the door, grab the tools, touch that boat like he was touching the future. But he didn't go. First day, he said, "I'll start tomorrow. Today, I'm just going to exhale." Second day, he said, "I need a little rest. 40 years isn't a joke." Third day, he said, "I'll get the house in order first. Then I'll do the garage." Fourth day, he said, "I should catch up on the news. I've been out of the loop for years." Fifth day, he said, "Weather's not right. Tomorrow will be better." And then it turned into a ritual. Television, chair, warm blanket, one show, another show, another. Like he was afraid to stand up. Like he was afraid to begin, because he didn't know how people live when they're not working. He prepared his whole life for freedom, and when freedom showed up, it scared him. You can dream for years, and then the chance shows up, and you freeze from fear. from not knowing, from that quiet panic of, what if I mess it up? Because a dream in real life takes hands and sweat and time, not fantasy. I watched him those 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks of freedom. Sometimes he'd stand up, walk to the window and look toward the garage. Look at it like it wasn't a boat in there. It was a sentence. He even opened the garage door once. Just opened it, looked inside, saw the dust, the cobwebs, that unfinished body of the boat, and closed it again. He went back to the television like it was shelter. I asked, "Why won't you start?" He said, "I will, just not today." And then this quiet, almost childlike, "I don't know where to begin." That line, "I don't know where to begin," kills more dreams than poverty ever did. Because the truth is, you always know where to begin. With the smallest thing, with the first screw, the first phone call, the first step. But you want the beginning to be clean and perfect and right. And beginnings are never like that. They're awkward, they're messy, they make you feel stupid. And that's why people run back to comfort. Now here's the main thing. The moment where you either wake up or you tell yourself, "I'll think about it." 2 weeks after Henry retired, Henry died. Not at a party, not holding a glass, not at work. He died at home, in the same room where he sat for 2 weeks watching television, like he was hypnotizing time to stand still. It happened in the morning. I remember the sound. Not a scream, not drama, just a dull thud. Like something heavy fell that was never supposed to fall. I ran in. He was on the floor, eyes open, mouth like he wanted to say one word, but didn't make it. And you know what was in my head in that second? Not why, not how could this happen? Just one stupid, brutal sentence I hate for being true. He didn't even start. That's the tragedy of deferred life. You can live long enough to reach later. You can even get freedom and still not live it, because you've trained yourself to sleepwalk. You think the scariest thing is death? No. The scariest thing is what's left after. Because you know what Henry left behind? Not the ocean, not the trip, not the boat on the water. He left a list. After the funeral, everybody said the right words. He was good. He worked hard. He did everything right. People love to decorate the truth. People are afraid of it. But the truth is, right does not mean alive. I went into the garage alone. It was quiet. The boat sat there like a monument. Dust, cobwebs, tools waiting for hands that would never come back. And what hit me wasn't just grief. It was rage. Not at him, at both of us, at that stupid game called Later. I found his notebook, old, worn, with little tabs. And I did something I'd never done before. I opened it and I read it. It wasn't just travel plans. It was things he put off even more than the ocean. Tell Vivian I'm scared. Ask forgiveness for being silent. Call my brother. Take my grandson out on the boat. Learn to play blues. Tell Vivian I love her for real. No, out of habit. You hear that? He even postponed the truth, the closeness, the love, because he thought there would be time later. And then I did something a lot of people would never forgive me for. I burned the boat. Yes, I burned it. Not because I hated Henry, because I couldn't stand looking at a dream that had turned into a coffin. I couldn't live next to that quiet accusation. You could have. You waited. The flames were fast. The wood cracked. And I stood there thinking, this is how a life burns when you wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't go all at once. It smolders, day by day, year by year, until it's ash. You might be thinking, that's harsh. Good. Let it be harsh, because life is harsh. It doesn't ask if you're ready. And now I'm here. And behind the glass is Temzin. She doesn't come into the room. She watches like it's a job. She taps something on her tablet, then back to her phone. She's young. She doesn't know yet that freedom can scare you just as much as a prison. She doesn't know yet that later is the most convenient lie on earth. But I see you in her, because I've seen thousands like that. They look at old age and death like it's a movie, like it's something that happens someday. They push it away with glass, with jokes, with noise, with rushing, with screens. You push it away too. And now I'm going to tell you the most uncomfortable thing. I pushed it away too. I just used different tools. I was successful. I built a career. I was the kind of woman people feared in meetings and respected in emails. I knew how to win. I knew how to stay busy in a way that looks like purpose. And I lied to myself. I'm doing it for my family. I had a daughter. School performances, drawings, birthdays that only happen once. She wanted me to look at her with my eyes, not my wallet. And I didn't show up. I have a meeting. I have a deadline. It's important. I can't. And she didn't make a scene. She just stopped asking. That's how kids learn. If someone is important but never there, then love is conditional. As long as you're convenient. As long as you don't get in the way. I bought her gifts like you can purchase forgiveness. Like you can buy time back. Like love is a receipt. But love is presence. And now, in this room, I can finally see it. I was the architect of my own loneliness. I built it, brick by brick, job by job. Just a little more, and then, same as Henry. My boat was just called Success. And here's the harshest detail. Because you told me you don't want fluff. You want truth. My daughter didn't come today. I don't know if she can't. I don't know if she won't. I don't know if she just can't stomach it. I'm not blaming her. I'm just paying the bill. I bought her everything except me. I gave her comfort and took her mother. Success gave me the money for this clean, expensive room so I could die comfortably and in total silence. Do you see where this goes? This isn't an old lady story. It's a pattern. It's a path. It's what happens when you live a postponed life. First you postpone the little stuff. I'll call tomorrow. I'll do it this weekend. I'll go when I'm in the mood. I'll start when I have time. Then you postpone the big stuff. I'll say I love you later. I'll apologize later. I'll change jobs later. I'll start the thing later. I'll move later. And then you postpone yourself, and it stops being planning. It becomes sleep. And you wake up, not in the morning. You wake up under a hospital ceiling with tubes, with that sick realization that everything was rehearsal and the actual show never started. That's why I'm saying, wake up. And I know what you're about to ask. Okay, so what do I do? And this is where a lot of people slip away. They want a magic sentence, a secret, motivation that doesn't require movement. I'm not giving you that. I'm giving you something simple and brutal. But first, hear this line and let it grab you by the throat. Regret is heavier than failure. Failure has a shape. You fall, you get up, you learn, you move on. Failure means you lived. Regret is a shadow that grows. It gets heavier every year. It tightens around you until you can't breathe, not because you're sick, but because you betrayed yourself. Henry died saving himself for later. I would have died the same way if I weren't talking to you right now. And Temzin doesn't even realize she's already caught the disease. She stands behind the glass and thinks reality is here, and life is somewhere else in her plans for the evening. You've got your own shield. Your shield is, I've got time. Throw that shield away. It's killing you. Now. Concrete actions, one after another. Not someday, today. First, make a call, not a text, a call. To the person you keep postponing, the person you owe the truth to. Say the thing sitting in your throat. I love you. I miss you. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Thank you. Even if your voice shakes, even if it's uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is how you know you're alive. Second, cut off one piece of your sleep. One. Maybe it's the job you hate but tolerate, like Henry. Maybe it's a relationship where you shrink yourself just to keep things calm. Maybe it's the endless scrolling where your attention goes to die, and then you wonder where your life went. Cut one thing, not everything at once. One, but real. Third, take a small step toward what you keep calling a dream. Don't think big plan. Just do a step. Sign up. Buy the ticket. Send the application. Start the project. Open the file. Find the tool. Make the first move. Because a dream without action is just another list in a notebook. And I've seen how notebooks end. And one more thing, very concrete. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't know where to begin, do the smallest thing you can do in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, no more. A message, opening the document, a phone call, looking up one person who can help, buying one tool. Don't wait for inspiration. Inspiration comes after motion, not before it. Henry waited for inspiration, and he lost. And here's another line I want you to remember. It's simple, but it cuts. Your calendar is not your life. Life is what you do when you're scared, when nobody claps, when there are no guarantees, when you choose yourself over comfort. I'm not telling you to throw everything away and run to the mountains. I'm not selling you romance. I'm talking about basic honesty. Don't live like you've got a rough draft, because you don't. You get one clean copy, and you're writing it right now, either with your actions or with your postponing. Temzin takes a step closer behind the glass. She looks at the monitor. Her face is serious but detached, like she's watching a graph, not a human being. She might be a good nurse, but even good nurses hide behind glass sometimes. Because if you let all of this into your heart, you can break. And you hide too. Your glass just looks different. Yours is busy. Yours is being practical. Yours is later. I can feel my words getting heavier. I can feel my thoughts start to slide. That's how I know time is running out. So I want you to hear my last instruction. Not a suggestion, not a wish, an instruction. Don't wait for Henry's retirement, even if you think retirement is far away, even if you're young, even if you're thinking, this isn't me. It is you, because retirement isn't an age. Retirement is your habit of postponing your life until the perfect moment. Don't be me. Don't be Temzin standing behind glass, thinking real life is somewhere on the other side. Do it today. Say it. Call. Go. Start. Cut it off. Choose. Wake up. Because if you do nothing after this, then you agreed to a deferred life. You agreed that one day you'll be under cold light too, thinking, why did I wait? The world won't stop when I die. The world always keeps going. That's what it does. But you can stop your sleep. Wake up. And when this video ends, don't go back to the feed. Don't go back to noise. Don't tell yourself you'll think about it. Thinking is just another form of postponing if it doesn't lead to action. Stand up. Do one thing right now. And then, if you want, watch the next video in the end screens. Not to forget, to lock it in, to keep yourself from falling asleep again. Wake up.